So, back in 2018, we all lined up for what we thought was just another superhero blockbuster. But what we got was something else entirely. It was a cinematic reckoning. Today, we're going to break down exactly how Avengers Infinity War went from a huge movie event to a truly timeless, tragic masterpiece. You know, the whole power of this movie, the thing that makes it stick with you, comes down to this one question. What if the heroes lose? And it doesn't just hint at it, it throws this terrifying question at you right from the very beginning. I mean, think about it. Most superhero movies would never ever dare to ask that for real. And let's be super clear about what that means. We're not talking about a temporary setback here. This isn't one of those strategic retreats where the good guys just, regroup and come back stronger in the next scene. No, this was about something way, way deeper. We're talking about genuine, devastating, soul-crushing loss. And that commitment, that absolute refusal to pull the punch, is what makes Infinity War so much more than just another big-budget movie. It makes it unforgettable. Okay, so the movie that changed everything. Let's really get into it. To even begin to understand why this film hits so hard, you have to look at its DNA, the core idea that holds the entire thing together. So here's the magic trick, right? The genius move Infinity War pulls. It's a tragedy disguised as a spectacle. You walk in expecting epic fights and special effects, and believe me, you get all of that. But underneath it all, it's built just like a classic Greek tragedy. The ending doesn't feel like a surprise. It feels completely, crushingly inevitable. All right, next up, a story without a net. And that's exactly what it is. The reason that tragic feeling works is because the movie just starts breaking all the unspoken rules that are supposed to make us feel safe. This is it. This is the promise we get with almost every superhero movie ticket we buy, right? It's like this unwritten contract. Don't worry, it might get dark, but everything's going to be fine in the end. Well, from scene one, Infinity War takes that contract, rips it into a million pieces, and basically tells you, nope, not this time. Think about a typical superhero movie. You get a slow burn, the danger kind of builds up. Here, nope, the danger's already there, full force. The promise of safety? Gone. Immediately. The villain isn't making threats. He shows up already victorious from his last fight. It doesn't feel like another sequel. It feels like the end of the line. And because of all that, the movie just moves like a freight train, or maybe a hurricane. It's just relentless. There's zero filler, no wasted scenes. Every single moment, every conversation is pushing us closer and closer to that ending we're all starting to dread. So, the villain as hero. This is where things get really interesting. All of that momentum, that unstoppable force we were just talking about, it's all leading us to the person at the center of the story, who happens to be the bad guy. And this is the mind-bending part. The movie completely flips the script and dares us, it challenges us, to see this whole epic story from his point of view. See, Thanos doesn't think he's a villain, not at all. He's not after money or power. In his mind, with every fiber of his being, he believes he's the hero, saving everyone. In fact, just look at how this story is built. It's literally Thanos' hero's journey. Step 1, he has this crystal clear philosophy he never wavers from. Step 2, he makes these impossible sacrifices, and you see him genuinely mourn them. Step 3, the guy endures insane amounts of pain, both physical and emotional. And step 4, he finishes the job no matter what it costs him personally. We're not just watching the heroes react to him, we are following his journey. So what's driving him? It's not chaos. It's not a lust for power. It's what he truly, honestly sees as balance. And that's what makes him so terrifying, but also weirdly compelling. It's what turns him from a regular old comic book bad guy into this legendary, almost Shakespearean figure. You just don't forget him. All right, section 4, balancing the universe. So if the whole story is basically about Thanos, here's the big question. How on earth did they manage to juggle that massive roster of heroes? How did the whole thing not just completely fall apart? I mean, we're talking about more than 20 major heroes. These aren't just background characters. These are beloved heroes we've spent a decade getting to know. To bring them all together into one story, I mean, that's a challenge nobody had ever really pulled off before. It's just staggering. The secret is that every single interaction has a purpose. Nothing is wasted. You've got Stark and Strange, this perfect clash of ego and intellect. Then there's Thor and Rocket, which is surprisingly this deep dive into grief and finding your way back. Wanda and Vision are literally in a race against time for their love. Rogers and Barnes, their lifelong bond tested by cosmic fate. And at the center of it all, the real emotional core, is Gamora and Thanos. That's the tragic heart of the whole movie. And that really gets to the heart of it. This movie isn't about one hero saving the day. It's about the incredible, crushing cost of being a hero. It shifts the focus from, who wins the fight, to something much bigger. What is the collective weight of all this sacrifice? What is the price of failure? Okay, why the loss matters. Everything we've talked about leads to this, to that ending, the ending that nobody could stop talking about. And to really get why it still hits so hard today, we need to break down those final devastating minutes. And then, the snap. And what comes next isn't a huge explosion. There's no soaring music. It's silence. Just this sudden, chilling, haunting quiet as characters we have loved for years just fade away into dust. Just think about how gutsy that is from a filmmaking perspective. The movie denies us everything we've come to expect. There's no last-minute save, no inspiring speech, no little glimmer of hope to hang on to. You get zero comfort, absolutely nothing. The only thing you're left with is loss. That's it. The credits roll and you're just sitting there in it. And by trusting us, the audience, to actually sit with that uncomfortable, profound grief, the movie achieves this emotional punch that is just so rare, especially for a movie this big. But here's the twist, right? When you really think about it, the movie isn't just about defeat. It's about endurance. It's not about the moment of loss itself, but about the question that hangs in the air after. What happens now? How do you possibly go on when you've lost everything? It's about finding the strength to just endure. And that's its legacy, really. It was a story that dared to end in total darkness. That one single, incredibly brave choice is what locked it into movie history. It proved to everyone that a giant blockbuster could also be a truly heartbreaking, challenging, and deep piece of art. So I want to leave you with this question. What does it say about us that sometimes the stories that stick with us the most are the ones that absolutely break our hearts? We go to the movies to escape, to see the good guys win. So why do we keep coming back to the tragedies? Maybe it's because they show us a truth we all know deep down, that loss is a real part of life, but so is the incredible strength we find on the other side of it.